Hi, Jane. It's about 7:30-ish in the morning, um, and I wanted to do this before it started to warm up. You know the weather, um, so the air's been kind of hot and dry. And this is the park in the moment right now. For about 4 months, I was able to, well, stay on top of some of these things, at least on this upper half of the park or portion of the park. I think it's less than half. And then my trash can got stolen, and I could go into the politics. I know you were mentioning a course that you took on conflict resolution, and whoa, have have sociologists got their work cut out for them in these types of settings. Like maybe half the houses on that side are family who is related to each other, and then over on that side you've got some people who called corrupt officials to break my leg right over there, actually. So anyway, I guess since I have already talked about this, I tried to mound up some soil right there, and I dug out the basin right there. They had thrown some fill dirt. They're kind of starting to now. And moved some of that soil up here. You can tell what came up, some of that mallow stuff. And then I've been trying to keep organic material on this side of it for the trees here, which haven't been too maintained in terms of pruning, and they get damaged from time to time. This was in better shape before, and I had a mulberry tree over here that they well, you know, it's almost political, really, the sort of drama, and I wouldn't want to get into it too much if it's not interesting or somehow engaging, because I don't want to sound like I'm gossiping. But they haven't repaired that, and then they took the two benches that were here and moved them over there, what their kids call their side. So, you know, they kind of divvied up the public space between them, and I am, well, you might be able to see from here my personal graffiti on the door that they broke. When I had my leg broken, I was on crutches, and they drove a car through that gate. But so it's kind of dramatic, kind of silly. But in terms of what I've been up to lately, this has kind of been it. This has been the most, I guess, noticeable changes I've been able to keep in the ground so far. And that could change. I don't know if it'll last, but started these out from seed. I think actually the seed that I got from one of your trees when we were moving stuff that we cut in your property over your parents' property over in Eucalyptus Hills. I think I kept some seed from the back of my truck and then stored it, and it's viable all these years later. Nice little tree growing up there. So yeah, so this has been pretty much it here. This was put in the ground a while ago, and then recently I intentionally tried to keep this. I think it was you who mentioned it to me as urbanite, the old concrete. Don't want to let it go to waste. It's still got some thermal mass, so it's not as good as stone, but I think it serves the same function. So for this here, and hopefully it slows erosion a little bit more. I already started on another one here, and I didn't do a heck of a lot of the pruning that I would have liked to do this season. But here's one of them. I did prune that. So, you know, I think it doesn't look too bad. But they did do their usual interfering with that, and I can't be like, don't do that without some sort of conflict starting. So I just came over here and I tried to clean it up, remove the dangling piece, but other than that, most of it's been left unharmed. Here are some of the older bits of damage, and yeah. Oh, the politics, if we could get into it. I'd like to use this spot right here to use the pepper tree as a sort of nurse tree for an oak sapling somewhere in the bottom there. I already planted a rosemary right there, so that's doing okay. And then some rue that maybe is still alive, but I doubt it. Yeah, they've stomped on it too many times now. That one survived. That one right there. Another one right here somewhere. Doesn't look like it made it. That rosemary survived. There's another one there that's barely hanging on right there. So, yeah. That guy just pulled up right there has repeatedly damaged my property. And that guy right there, I used to play with his son when I was a kid here. He watched the car drive through my gate and just sat on his front step. As I walked by on crutches. Oh, right. So this one right here is a bit more representative of what I've tried to do with the tree pruning. I try to go in after the acacia flowers, and then I remove. Well, I had been hard pruning, but this year I didn't have to. I only removed the 20%. Recommended to avoid too much uneven growth, and it looks okay, I think. The idea was to avoid that long term, and it looks like all the major older branches are pretty clear of it, so shouldn't need too much maintenance. I know they're short-lived, these acacias. I read that they don't typically live past 30 years, so the idea was that oak tree that I wanted to put there could replace it. And then up here in this space, in this basin right here, I'd like to put a sycamore tree. And up there, maybe on that end right there, another palo verde or something similar. But hopefully all these sort of rock walls, sort of, they'll soak in enough moisture to keep whatever tree on this line will need, and then it'll drop its leaves for this line over here, which is holding enough moisture to keep that alive without me watering it too much. I've been trying to pull back a little bit, see what happens. One of the things I noticed is they didn't continue to clean after they stole my trash can. But what they consider theirs, they want to keep an image, and they'd like to, I don't know. I think it's pretty self-explanatory once you get a good look at it for a while. Like I've passively been able to see. Don't really have to go out of my way too much. Garbage fire. So yeah, that's about it. They had a little failed experiment planting a puntia right here around that line, around that way, and then they took it all and dumped it over there, which is where I started to get cochineal on the other cactus right there, because it was already infected. But I'm trying to minimally stay on top of it. I don't want to be too involved. So yeah, so that's the general idea. I kind of gotten the hint, but I don't accept it as truth. I'll just accept it as part of the strategy I'd like to take. They want me to stay, not even just on this side. They want me to stay inside my house, and I'll take it into consideration. But also, I just can't allow these things. You know, I think you were able to get an impression of my character, and that's an oil canister right there, and I've already picked up multiple ones over here. So there are things that are not permissible to me, and maybe my approach isn't the most effective or the best one, but I have to have some approach. I don't think I could just let it go, because as soon as I did shut myself in here out of obligation to my health, I was crippled for a while with crutches. They come and they drive a car through the gate, and I don't know when they would stop, but if they see me kind of minding my business, they advance and take more. So yeah, so that's part of all this. It really is. So all that concrete for those little basin or swales things there, rock walls, rock dams. I don't know what you would call them. They're kind of swales, but for right now, they're just kind of retaining erosion control. It came from here, so I've been cutting that up. I already ran one disc out, and another one is almost halfway through. But the idea is going to be, I got to remove this slab and this slab, and that should give me enough area here to finish the planting. It's gonna be minimal here. So there's a pomegranate that I've already got started from cuttings of that pomegranate. It's gonna go there, sort of. Wait, no, right there. Far enough away from that Bella Verde, and far enough away from that pomegranate, and I can remove that citrus tree, which I've cut back significantly, but it's infected. It's got that dry rot fungus, and I heard there's no cure for it, so I got to get rid of that. Yeah, I'll probably put in a pot. I've got other citrus seedlings started already, but yeah. Oh, and what is that? Pokeweed? Pokeweed. First year I've ever tried pokeweed. Just the stems, not the berries or the leaves or anything, but like the stems when they're kind of fresh, or I don't know, green, tender. They don't have a heck of a lot of rough fibrous stuff, so you don't even really have to peel them. You just kind of cut them up and throw them on a pan, and they're actually kind of nice tasting. I've heard this plant is known for not having the greatest taste, so I was like, oh, I could do that. And I did have to, since I've had to change my approach from just being open about everything and transparent, and friendly neighbor like, talking to everybody. Been more reserved, but now I have some of the cliche, uh, I guess, recommended permaculture plants, which would be these guys. Where is it? Here, I got some Jerusalem artichokes, and I've never tried them, and I don't know if I would even like them, but given that they're in the allium family, or the allium family, the sunflower, what is it? Asteraceae? Or they're relatives of. These are the alliums that I had on my mind right now, because I got the walking onions too. I've had trouble with garlic and onion. I can only get them to go one generation and then they die out on me. So yeah, the amount of heavy metals in the park, I really suspicious of, and I would not want to long-term plant anything without some sort of something already in the ground that's going to absorb all that, stray oil canisters that just happen to fall off of somebody's back of the truck or something. There's heavy metals, there's dioxins, there's all sorts of things. So I figure that's a fast grower. It's got a tuber. It's already in the family of a plant that readily absorbs those types of toxins. And then over here, from about where that fence and the sidewalk meet, right there, from about right here up, I feel like we could set up at least 3 pallet crate, kind of like bays for composting. But I don't know. We'll see. I had a developed plan for it before, and the more I invested in that one plan, the efforts and stuff, the easier it was for people with other interests in mind to just kind of waste my time, money, and all that. So trying it differently, because they've got expendable income that, I'm just one guy, so but yeah, that's that. I wish it was different. If I saw somebody sweeping my front step or something, I wouldn't go and break their leg. But alright, well, this is almost 20 minutes long, and I figured I would try to take video because it's a little bit more detailed than photos, but at the same time, I know that it's not as easy to see all the details, so I'll try to take some photos too. That dog's blind, is one of the neighbors. Psh, 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 psh. Hey, she lives over corner, well, second to last to the corner. Well, I will write more in message and try to send photos of what I didn't cover here and now. So I'm open for suggestions, recommendations, anything really. It's nice to hear from you, and I actually haven't read the message that you sent. I saw that you sent it, and I read like the first line, but I haven't opened it, so I look forward to reading. And I think you sent some photos too, and seeing what you've been working with. I'll talk to you soon.